Hey guys, yeah, a bit of a kind of a bonus video, I suppose, today. Obviously, not many clips there, and obviously just a couple photos with me and John and Lee. Shout out to Lee, he's one of the viewers of the channel. Met up with him to go to the event tonight, and yeah, was great of John to kind of just give his time up like that to take and questions from the community, from obviously the Rovers fanboy base, and answered every single one. There were a few kind of brutal questions there chucked in by some of obviously the kids, who, I mean, I suppose when you're at that age, you don't kind of beat around the bush. But yeah, he answered every single question and seemed a really good laugh. There was at one point, for example, where, someone mentioned, oh, you're going to be working with the director of football, and, he was like, we don't have a director of football, we've got Rudy Gestead, and he got Adam Owens mixed up with Owen Beck. He said, oh, we've got Rudy Gestead working with Owen Beck, and yeah, it was quite funny, obviously, and, I just kind of made a joke out of it, and then, the guy behind me who asked the question said, we're screwed then, I guess, if you don't know kind of who you're working with, and he kind of made a joke out of that. So just seems a really good guy, and he's practicing what he preaches in terms of he constantly goes on about in his post-match interviews about togetherness, and this was a way of kind of giving back and bringing that togetherness to the club, I suppose. As long as I've been a Rovers fan, I do not remember a manager doing something like this. And it was great. We raised £3,000 tonight. Everyone was there. It was a £10 donation to the community trust to attend. There were VIP people who paid £50 to go, and you could have like a tactical kind of discussion with John. I didn't do that, unfortunately. But then there was raffles as well, and as you'd have seen in one of the videos there, they were raffling away a women's shirt from last season signed by the women's team, men's away shirt from last season, all signed by the men, football from this season signed by the team, a cap with John Eustace's signature on, and then match-worn boots from Hayden Carter and Sammy Smodics, and I came desperately close to winning the Eustace cap. But yeah, it wasn't meant to be. Funnily enough, I was going up for the raffle tickets, and I was stood there just about to get my ticket, and someone just kind of sneaked in front of me and got the winning ticket for Eustace's cap before me. So obviously it wasn't meant to be, I suppose. But yeah, was great to kind of meet him, and I posed a few questions myself. The first one being, God, let me think. What was the first one? The first one being, clearly was such a good question. I've just had to pause and try and remind myself. But yeah, the first one was regarding John Dal Thomason. So he'd kind of previously been talking about how he'd come in, and obviously the work he had to do to save us from the drop. And before I got that picture, first thing I did was shake his hand rather, and thank him for saving us last season. There's no two ways about it. I genuinely think if John Dahl had seen the season out, we would have gone down. So I thanked him for that, and after I got my couple photos, I thanked him for his time, for giving back to the community, as I said, raising money for a really good cause, which is for the community trust for helping people with cancer. But yeah, the first question I posed of my three, these weren't all back to back, by the way, I weren't hogging the limelight, was about John Dahl. I said, did he have a conversation with John Dahl before he came into the club? I've known managers to kind of do that, have a conversation with the outgoing manager as the new one's coming in, and if he didn't, what did he kind of make of his time at the club, John Dahl? he said he didn't have a conversation with him, and he kind of really respected what John Dahl had managed to do, nearly making the playoffs with the team. And obviously he said, obviously kind of just went sour, I suppose, and then he had to come in. So yeah, I don't think he obviously wanted to comment too much on John Dahl's time and how it ended kind of quite poorly there. But yeah, the second question rather was in regards to Arne Sigurdsson. I said obviously he came in and was a marquee signing for us at the time. His contract is up next summer, so will he be leaving in January? We'll be looking to get a fee for him. And yeah, he said he doesn't want to lose anyone. He likes Siggy, thinks he's got good quality. And obviously came on and got us that goal against Oxford, which got us 3 points there. But yeah, obviously it's competitive for places and whatnot. And off the back of that, the guy who was hosting the Q&A did ask John Dahl whether he thinks we've seen the best of Sigurdsson, and obviously he kind of went into the fact that he's been injured and he's been ill and he's probably not been playing as much football as he would have liked to recently. But I mentioned the point that obviously it was a John Dahl signing, Sigurdsson, and it still kind of strikes me that he is a John Dahl player, not really a John Eustace player. When he was asked other questions by other people in terms of what he would kind of want in January, his answer was, another striker and some pace on the wings. Sigurdsson is not fast. He's not a pacey winger, and in my mind, I do think he is going to be sold in the summer. And then I left the most tasty question till last. I thought all three of my questions were all right. I tried to go for questions that kind of maybe provoke a reaction in a way, kind of make him think a bit. So my last one was, what is his relationship with the owners? Because us as fans don't really have a relationship with the owners, obviously. And what is kind of their commitments to the club, with obviously all the kind of, stuff going on behind the scenes over the summer. We're kind of, and not really in the know-how. And yeah, I kind of expected him to, but he beat it around the bush a little. He said he's met them, said he knows they're committed to the club, and didn't really say much more than that, I guess. But, it's kind of questions like that, what you're not supposed to ask, I suppose, but I was feeling cheeky and thought I'd ask nevertheless. But yeah, thought I got some good questions in there. Obviously wanted to make them as interesting as I could. I wish I could have asked a couple more in terms of why, because he was going on about how he was a captain at all his clubs that he'd played for, why he chose to take the armband off Hyam, who was his captain, for the back end of that season, last season, and give it back to Lewis Travis, who'd obviously, left us to go out on loan at Ipswich. And also I did want to ask whether he would consider playing Maktar and Yuki up top as a 9 and a 10, or as just a double strike force up top. But yeah, unfortunately, couldn't manage to fit those in. So maybe another time, we'll have to see. But yeah, a brilliant night, and I would highly recommend going down there next time they do something like this, for a great cause, and just brings us closer to, kind of the players and the managers and stuff like this. And I really do hope the Community Trust runs more things like this, and so they should indeed. We should have that relationship, and we're a small town club, and that's the only way. As John Eustace actually said tonight, someone asked, obviously it's no kind of it's no secret that we need to get more people coming through the doors, and And John said himself, you know, we need to do more things like this, giving more free tickets to schools, running more events like this to bring the community closer to the football club. And yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction, and long may it continue. So, John, if you're watching, thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for being so kind. And yeah, hopefully our paths cross again. Cheers for watching, guys. And there will be a vlog out on Saturday for our game against Sheffield United at home, which, you know, obviously proves to be a tough game. Definitely been a thorn in our side, especially at Bramall Lane over the past few seasons. But, you know, there was that game at Ewood, turned him over, that Harry Pickering goal, the sound when it hit the back of the net, beautiful. So yeah, let's hope we can do the business again against them. But yeah, it'll be our first real test at Ewood, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. Cheers for watching, guys.